Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today I have the opportunity to work on a reel that Walter brought me. This is a Ambassador. It's an Abu Garcia 5601 SX. And this one is one of the newer models. It's one of the reels that was made in China. Remember, if you're looking at Ambassador reel and it doesn't say made in Sweden, it's made in China. Well, what's the issue with this reel? The trip lever is not returning. And I'll just tighten this down, see, nope. So it's kind of an interesting fault that happens frequently. Usually it's dirt and debris, but this reel, I've worked on this type of reel before. The Chinese made ones, there is plastic in there. It is quite possible that something broke from the plastic perspective. So we're going to take this reel apart. We'll start by removing the exterior pieces and parts. And as I do, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. And if you subscribe to the channel, please use the notification button. That will let you know when I'm posting. And you can see all the variety of reels that I work on. This one's a round bait caster. Tomorrow it might be a large trolling reel followed by a freshwater pond reel. You never know. You're watching me service the reels that come into my shop for service. And there's quite a variety there. So if you'd like the art of fishing reel service and repair, this is the channel for you, and I encourage you to do that. Subscribe. I am noticing on the bottoms here that as much as this reel has been taken care of, that there's salt collected there, which means it's been used in a saltwater environment. And well, when you're rinsing off, it doesn't necessarily always mean that you're getting every piece of salt off of there. This is a left-handed version, so almost everything operates the reverse of what you would find on a right-handed crank reel. So we'll start by taking that handle nut off, and that comes off in a clockwise manner, which would suggest tightening most of the time. Same thing here with the star adjuster. Notice I'm leaving the side plate on while I do this. And I would encourage you as you do this to take pictures along the way. I'm taking pictures with the camera. Video. You don't need to do videos, but you should keep a record at critical junctures in the disassembly process so that you know the orientation and the way that the parts are before you start taking them apart. Once you start taking them apart and you lose the orientation and the like, well, that's where mistakes can happen. So I always encourage you at critical points, take the pictures. All right, these are thumb screws now. And I want to remind you that I do use a parts tray for the pieces and parts that I do remove. In this case, it's a fast food container. And what we really want to learn on this one, not only is how to correct that issue, but we want to learn why this reel failed. And I like to keep a kind of a running log in terms of failures. And if I see one that occurs frequently, well, that kind of tells me it's a design issue. If it happens every now and then, well, it may be a part issue. Never quite sure. All right, the reel we've removed. We're going to do a service on this one as well. So in this case, we have a bearing on the back end of the spool. We can go ahead and oil that bearing. We have a bearing on the front end. Do the same thing. And just checking cleanliness and the like. We can put that back in. Let's go over and find out what's going on here. Again, everything's plastic on these. Plastic bridge plate as opposed to a metal one. Plastic pieces inside. Plastic just is not as durable as the metal counterparts are. And they tend to shatter from time to time. We'll find out what's going on here in just a moment. We're going to take these two side plate screws off. I'll have a few inside, and that'll kind of tell us. I did leave some washers on the gear stem. And when we take it off, we'll just notice the sequence of those washers so that when it's time to reinstall, we put them back the right way. All right, these are the two screws that are holding on the case. Now we should be able to lift that case up and off. little effort, you should be able to get that off. There you go. And now there's some pieces inside here, so let's make sure we know what those pieces are. This is your orientation on those washers I was talking about. You have two beveled washers. They go up and down, and the top washer is a flat washer. We also have the spacer for your anti-reverse. And this is the first look we have at the inner workings of this reel. Most of the time these issues occur because the reel gets dirty, but we're going to check this out now. We're going to remove the two yoke springs right away, just so we don't lose those. Yoke is next, and the main gear, the pinion gear. Main gear and assemblies. And this is your plastic piece. And it looks to me to be kind of hard to move there. And I would say, based on what I'm seeing here, I see a lot of dirt kind of here. It's probably wept in through the back end. I see a broken spring on this side. It's the return spring. Well, it's not broken, it's just, well, maybe it is broken. And that would cause this not to trip back. Yeah, that's a broken spring. Okay, while I'm reviewing that spring, it's broken. So why did this reel fail? Well, it failed because the return spring here goes from here to that post over there is broken. Well, that's kind of a sign of materials, isn't it? We kind of talked a little bit about this to begin with. We said that the Ambassadors have a lot of plastic parts in them, and apparently they have some faulty springs in them as well. So, well, it's off to the supply shop to see if we can't get some replacement springs. Now, it's interesting to note this one seems to be a whole lot heavier than this one does. I wonder if that's been replaced already. I don't know. All right, well, why do reels fail? Sometimes they fail because of poor maintenance. We saw in this case that the owner took care of this reel. It's been washed off and cleaned and taken care of. We've seen that sometimes it's a matter of parts. And I think that's where we are with this one. I think it might be an issue with design of parts, because this clearly is an inferior set of materials inside this versus what you'll find on the more traditional or the older style of Ambassador. So we're going to have to order it, and hopefully we can get it going again. If we get it going again, of course I'm going to advise the individual to never buy another one of these, but in the meantime, hopefully the parts are available to support it. So, lessons learned. Some of that's the fun behind doing reel repair. I've seen the plastic ones before from Abu, and every one of them has never lived up to reputation as far as I'm concerned. All right, we have a broken a broken trip lever return spring. We're just going to put this reel back together again so that we don't lose the pieces and parts while we order the other. There's the two springs that go in here. They go there. We can take our anti-reverse spacer sleeve and collar. Now we can bring the main back on, the side plate. When you put your side plate on, make sure that it's got a nice tight seal to it. When you hear something like that, a nice click, that click will help you know that it's sealed properly. Two of the screws go back on. So this is an example of living off of a brand name and not necessarily living up to that brand. We've seen that a couple of times now with some of these reels that have outshored or offshored or outsourced the manufacturer. And I don't blame it on the manufacturer as much as I blame it on the compromises that they've made. It's not whose hands are putting these together. When you select a material like a plastic bridge plate, plastic yoke, a plastic trip lever, you can expect that they're just not going to be as hardy or as robust as they were. Somebody had to make that decision. It wasn't whose hands put it together. It was somebody. It was the person who made the decision that says, we're going to save a couple of dollars here. We're going to make a reel using these types of materials, and then passing it off as, well, maybe the one that your father fished with. All right, that takes care of the side plate there. Just continue to put the balance of these on. Well, if you have any questions on this reel or any reel in particular, maybe you're working on one and you're stuck, maybe you need a little bit of an assist to help you along, maybe you need something with the problem diagnosis like that one. I was just trying to put it on, and of course, as I mentioned early on, it goes opposite, so this goes on in a counterclockwise manner. But if you have those types of questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'll try to answer those for you. Well, another question that will come up is, where do you get the replacement parts? One of the sources for the ABU replacement parts is a company called eReplacementParts.com. They handle a group of parts. One of the best things to do is to do your search ahead of time in terms of the part number you're going to need, because that site, well, unfortunately, that site has an awful lot of manufacturers they support. It's not just ABU. It's everything from, well, lawnmowers and washing machines to household appliances and the like. You really do need to limit your search. So if you put in ABU Ambassador for a start, you may come up with thousands of parts. Put in the model number, the 5601SX, you should get a diagram from the site. If you do an internet search ahead of time and you determine what that part number is, well, that'll facilitate you just simply going in and putting ABU and the part number into that site and getting the part to pop right up. All right, well, it's all back together again. Unfortunately, it's not going to work any better. We're just going to put this back together, order the parts, and hopefully keep this reel fishing for as long as it can. Well, I hope you learned something from it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you did, please like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And I want to take a moment before I leave to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, everybody involved in public service for their efforts and their career choices. It is appreciated. Well, I want to wish everybody a great day. Some days are better than others in terms of reel repair. Some days you'll learn a lot more. So even though this reel could not be repaired and given a second chance at the moment, the replacement spring should be able to do that. And the knowledge of why that reel failed will help us in future repairs on these and other reels. That's the Ambassador 5601SX. That means it's a lefty fishing reel. Seems to work okay otherwise, but inside, well, you saw the story of this reel inside. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day. Thanks for watching.